Hello there, my name is Richard McMunn from the psychometric testing website howtobecome.com, and in this tutorial I will teach you how to pass a numerical reasoning test. So if you have a numerical reasoning test coming up soon, make sure you stay tuned because I promise to help you get the highest scores possible. And to achieve that goal, this is what I will cover during this tutorial. So I'm going to give you 7 great tips for passing any numerical reasoning test. These tips will make a massive difference to your preparation time and also your performance during the real numerical reasoning test. I will also show you the type of questions that will come up during your real numerical reasoning test. And if you understand the type of questions that will come up, it makes it easier for you to answer them. And then finally, I'm going to give you lots of practice test questions, numerical reasoning test questions that you can work through live on the screen. And as you and I already know, the more questions you practice in the build up to the real test, the higher scores you will get. So let's start off with my top 7 numerical reasoning test tips. Make sure you watch these tips. They will make a big difference to your performance on the day. Numerical reasoning test tip number 1. Make sure you practice as many test questions as you can under timed conditions. So your real numerical reasoning test will have to be undertaken under strict timed conditions. There will be a time limit. So by practicing as many questions under time conditions helps you get used to what is called time pressure. Now, lots of candidates never practice under time conditions and then they end up failing the real test because when it comes to the real test, they are given a time limit and then they start to panic and they can't concentrate on the questions. So it's really important in the build up to your test that you practice under timed conditions. That will help you get used to time pressure. Numerical reasoning test tip number 2, and that is tied in with the first tip. Make sure you find out how long the real test is and also how many questions you will have to answer, because this will then allow you to calculate how long you have per question. So if you have an idea of how long you can spend on each question during the real test, then that makes it easier for you to pass and get the highest scores possible. So how do you actually calculate the information you need? Well, let's assume the real test is 30 minutes long and there are 15 questions you must answer. Now, we already know that there are 60 seconds in a minute. So what we need to do is then multiply the 30 minutes for the length of the test by 60 seconds. And that gives us 1,800 seconds to complete the entire test. And then what we do is simply divide 1,800 seconds for the entire test by the 50 questions. And that tells us how long we have each question. And the answer is 36 seconds. So if you have 36 seconds per question during the real test, make sure you only practice each question for 36 seconds in the build up to the real test. This will make a big difference on the day. And as I said, it will help you get used to time pressure. And where all the other candidates are panicking, you will be used to that time element. So during your practice, only spend 36 seconds practicing each question. Numerical reasoning test tip number 3. Practice the basics. This is very important. And it's another thing that is neglected by lots of candidates. So practice the basics such as your times table. Get used to that. Try and do it in your head if you can. And also practice simple addition, subtraction, multiplication and division calculations, because again, this will make a big difference and it will save you lots of time during the real test. Numerical reasoning test tip number 4 is another important one. Find out if you can use a calculator during the real test. Now, if you can, practice using one and get familiar with it. Okay, lots of people turn up on the real test. They don't know whether they can use a calculator or not, and then they fail because they're not familiar with the workings of a calculator. A numerical reasoning test tip number 5. This is another really good one. When taking the real test, read the questions carefully. Now, in a second, I'm going to start working through some sample numerical reasoning test questions with you. And I will explain what I mean. Some of the questions can be a little bit vague or confusing if you don't read them carefully. So when taking the real test, read the questions carefully, and also don't focus on irrelevant information. What do I mean by this? Let's have a look at an example question. It says Susan wants to go shopping, but she doesn't have much money left from her salary. Now, she got paid £520 at the start of the month, but has since spent £315. How much money does she have left to go shopping with? Now, there's lots of information there. There's lots of information, but we don't need it. So if you look at that first paragraph, Susan wants to go shopping, but she doesn't have much money left from her salary. That's irrelevant. We don't need to know that information. The only information we need is the two numbers and what they're asking us to do. How much money does she have left? So there's a basic subtraction calculation here of £520 minus 315, and the answer is 205. Lots of candidates keep reading the question over and over again. And don't forget, if you did have just 36 seconds left, to actually answer this particular question, by the time you've read it, you don't have much time left. So don't focus on irrelevant information. That's a really good tip for passing your numerical reasoning test. Find out what the calculation is quickly that you have to do, and then carry it out. Now, don't go anywhere, because we're going to start working through lots of free online numerical reasoning test questions. But when you're ready, you can click that link in the top right hand corner of the video, and you can go through to my website, passmyinterview.com, and you can get free online access to my psychometric practice test questions that includes lots of numerical reasoning tests, and you can practice these on your computer, your laptop, or your smartphone. Okay, so now it's your turn to try some basic numerical reasoning test questions. Let's start with the basics to get you built up. So, what I want you to do is to put your answers to the questions 1 and 2 in the comments section below this video for marking. I will then personally come on here each day and mark your answers for you. Okay, so question number 1 is, Jamie wants to go to the movies with his friends to watch a film. Now, he was given $30 by his father earlier that day, but has since spent $24 on a computer game. If it costs $20 to watch the movie, how much extra money does he need? Is it A, $14, B, $16, C, $18, or D, $20? So please put your answer in the comments section below the video for marking. Thank you. Is it A, B, C, or D? And I'm going to give you 12 seconds to answer this. If you need any more time during these test questions, please just pause the video, because it's important you understand how to get to the right answer. Here we go. Okay, fantastic. Move on to question number 2. Martha has $950 to spend on a holiday. She spends $300 on a hotel, $255 on flights, and $90 on taxis to and from the airport. How much does she have left? Is it A, $250, B, $654, C, $305, or D, $255? Please put your answer in the comment section to question number 2 below the video for marking. Thank you. Here's the timer. Okay, well done. So we've started with some basics. Let's now move on to a different type of numerical reasoning test question. And this is number sequence test questions. And these come up all the time during numerical reasoning tests. Question number 3. Which number comes next in the sequence? So we are given a series of numbers. 6, 7, 9, 12, 16, 21, 27, and then we have to decide which number comes next in that sequence. Now, upon first inspection, these look very difficult to answer, but all we have to do is start at the left and try and find a sequence. So we can notice the difference between 6 and 7 is 1. The difference between 7 and 9 is 2. The difference between 9 and 12 is 3. You can see where this is going. We've already identified a sequence, a pattern. The difference between 12 and 16 is 4. The next two numbers is 5, 21 and 27 is 6. So therefore, the next difference must be 7, which means the answer is 34. 34 minus 27 is 7. So you can see how these work. So now it's your turn to try some numerical reasoning test questions. Again, please put your answers to questions 4 and 5 in the comments section below the video for marking. Thank you very much. Question number 4, which number comes next in the sequence? So we have 1, 3, 7, 13, 21, 31, 43, and you need to decide which one comes next. Here's your 12-second timer. Please put your answer in the comment section below the video. If you need more time, just pause the video. Okay, fantastic, well done. And question number 5, again, which number comes next in the sequence? Now this is a little bit harder. You can see that the number you have to calculate is in the middle, towards the middle of that sequence. It makes it a little bit harder. So you've got 101, 98, 93, 86, they're going down, 66, 53. What is the number? Here's your 12-second timer. Okay, brilliant. Great work. You're doing fantastic. Let's now move on to a different type of numerical reasoning test question. This one is called numerical competence test. Okay, question 6. How many number 7s are there between 1 and 50? So you might think this is really easy, and it is, but people fail these questions because they don't read them carefully enough. So how many number 7s are there between 1 and 50? Well, we've got 7, 17, 27, 37 and 47. So the answer is simply 5 7s between 1 and 50. All very simple. But let me show you one more so you don't get caught out during the real test. Question 7. How many number 5s are there between 5 and 52? Well, you've got 5, you've got 15, you've got 25, 35, 45 and 50. So people often say, well, between 5 and 52, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but there's 2 more. There is 51 and there's 52. So make sure you think carefully about your answer. So the answer to this one is, there is obviously 8. That would be the correct answer. It's not 6, as a lot of people would put. So now it's your turn to try some more numerical reasoning test questions. Please, again, put your answers to questions 8 and 9 in the comment section below the video for marking. Thank you very much. How many number 6s are there between 1 and 70? Is it A, 17, B, 16, C, 7, or D, number 9? Here's your 15 seconds timer. I'll give you a little bit longer for this one. It's a bit tricky. Here we go. Fantastic. And if you are managing to answer these in that time limit, you're making great progress. Question number 9. How many number 7s are there between 1 and 77? Is it A, 11, B, 16, C, 10, D, 15? Here's your 15-second timer. Please put your answer in the comment section below the video. And you can see by how practicing lots of questions, it really gets you ready for the real test. So let's move on to a different type of numerical reasoning test question. This one is numerical calculations test. Question 10, Sharon has £155 to spend. If she spends £14 on a pair of shoes, £32 on jeans, £65 on groceries, how much does she have left? You need to make sure you read the question. How much does she have left? Not how much has she spent. So step 1, add up all of Sharon's expenditure. So she spent £14, 32 on jeans, 65 on groceries. So that calculation is 111, how much she has spent. But the question is, how much does she have left? So we need to subtract the expenditure from the amount she initially had to spend. 155 minus 111 is 44. Okay, so now it's your turn to try some of these numerical reasoning test questions. Please put your answers to questions 11 and 12 in the comments section below the video for marking. Thank you very much. Question 11. Mark has £314 to spend. If he spends £75 on computer games, £89 on groceries, £65.50 on clothes and £3.15 on a birthday card, how much does he have left? A. £82.30. B. £232.65. C. £81.35. Or D. Nothing. Don't forget to read the question. How much does he have left? Here's your timer. Okay, fantastic. And question 12. Mohammed has £911 to spend. If he spends £266 on clothes, £94 on food, £44.15 on a train ticket and £190 on a birthday present, how much has he spent? Read the question. A. £385.15, B. £316.18, C. £594.15 or D. £316.85. Please put your answer in the comment section below the video for marking. Here's your timer. Okay, well done. And if you are paying attention to the tips that I gave earlier on, you will see that a lot of the information there is irrelevant. It doesn't matter about whether it's clothes, food, train ticket or a birthday present. You just have to work out how much has he spent. So you just do the calculation and you can see there how this will save you lots of time during the real test. I'm going to give you some more really important tips soon. Some quick shortcuts that will help you to answer the questions quickly. So let's now move on and try some different numerical reasoning test questions. This time it's percentages test questions. Let me give you a brilliant shortcut for answering these type of numerical reasoning test questions quickly. So question 13 is, what is 20% of 150? Now you could probably do this in your head. However, if you simply cancel out each of the zeros, and it has to be the zeros, there has to be zeros in the question, cancel them out, and then all you need to do is multiply the numbers that are left together. So it's 2 times 15, and the answer there is 30. That's such a great shortcut. So 20% of 150 is 30. So you cancel out the zeros and then multiply the two remaining numbers. That's a great shortcut for passing your test and saving you time during percentages test questions. So now it's your turn to try some of these numerical reasoning test questions. Please put your answers to questions 14 and 15 in the comments section below the video for marking. Thank you very much. Question 14, what is 40% of 220? Is it A, 80, B, 88, C, 44, or D, 440? Here's your timer. So you should have been able to answer that question quickly simply by cancelling out the zeros and then multiplying them both together. Try another one. Question 15. What is 80% of 60? A, is it 50, B, 40, C, 84, or D, none of the above? Here's your timer. Now, of course, I can hear some of you saying, but wait, what if there are no zeros? Well, let's have a look at question 16. What is 20% of 75? We can still cancel out that zero, but what we have to do is imagine the decimal point place there. So it's 75.0, and all we do is move that decimal point place over to the left. So it then becomes 7.5, and then we do the calculation, 2 times 7.5, and the answer is 15. So 20% of 75 is 15. So that's another really good tip for helping you to pass percentages numerical reasoning test questions. So now it's your turn to try some of these. Don't forget, practice makes perfect. Please put your answers to questions 17 and 18 in the comment section below the video for marking. Question 17. What is 40% of 35? Is it A, 14, B, 12.5, C, 21, or D, none of the above? Here's your 12-second timer. Great stuff. And question 18, what is 70% of 24? You know how to calculate this quickly. Is it A, 16, B, 16.5, C, 17, or D, 16.8? Here's your timer. So you are making fantastic progress. Let's now move on to some different numerical reasoning test questions. This time it's degrees. Again, these come up often during numerical reasoning tests. Question 19, the clock below reads 3 a.m. Don't forget to read the question. How many degrees will the small hour hand have turned when the time reaches 6 a.m.? So we have to calculate how many degrees will that small hour hand have turned when the time reaches 6 a.m. A tip here is to make sure you read carefully the timings. It's 3 a.m. and 6 a.m. So what do we do? Well, step 1, calculate how many degrees a 1 hour hand movement is on that small hour hand. Okay, so we need to calculate how many degrees a 1 hour movement is on the small hour hand. Well, there's 360 degrees in a full turn, so therefore there are 12 hours in a 360 degree turn. So all we need to do is 360 divided by 12 for each hour. That gives us 30 degrees. And step 2, all we then do is multiply 30 degrees by 3 hours because it's the difference between 3 a.m. and 6 a.m. and we get the answer 90 degrees. Fantastic. Okay, so now it's your turn to try some of these numerical reasoning test questions. Please put your answers to questions 20 and 21 in the comment section below the video for marking. Thank you very much. Question 20. The clock below reads 3 a.m. How many degrees will the large minute hand have turned when the time reaches 4 a.m.? Is it A, 60 degrees, B, 360 degrees, C, 720 degrees, or D, 80 degrees? Don't forget you're focusing on that large minute hand. So it's 3 a.m. to 4 a.m. Here is your timer. Fantastic. And question 21. The clock below reads 3 a.m. Read this question. How many degrees will the small hour hand have turned, the small one, when the time reaches 4 p.m.? There's a difference there. Read the question. 3 a.m., 4 p.m. You can see how easy it is to get caught out because on the real test, they won't be coloured in red. You have to read it. So it's the small hour hand again. So is it A, 390 degrees, B, 13 degrees, C, 360 degrees, or D, none of the above? Here's your timer. Okay, well done. Now, the next thing to do is click that link right now in the top right-hand corner of the video. Head straight through to my website, howtobecome.com, and get access to my online psychometric testing suite. It's free, so you can access it and start practicing loads of different test questions in preparation for the real test. It's a great resource. You can practice numerical reasoning test questions on your computer, laptop, or smartphone. Make sure you check it out. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. Don't forget, I'll come on here each day and I will mark your answers for you. Please subscribe to the channel. Lots of you are passing your tests and interviews. I can only help you long term if you are subscribed. And please do give the video a like because that motivates me to create more content for you. Thank you very much indeed, and I wish you all the best for passing your numerical reasoning test. Have a great day.